This is your course summary for M80 Underwriting Practice.
And I really like this book because the size of it is a lot more manageable than some of the other diploma units. So some of their stuff in there is overlap content. So just to talk you through some of the areas. The first hits you straight away with legal and regulatory. You're not going to get away from that, unfortunately, in some of these books. So they talk about the regulatory environment for underwriters. They go back over old ground, such as the PRA, the FCA, and so on. Then they talk a little bit about commercial and legislative factors. So they talk a little bit about the underwriting cycle. They talk a little bit about key kind of things like contract certainty. Again, just building on some of the things that you've looked at already at certificate level. Then as we get a little bit further into the book, we're talking more about the actual policy and practice of underwriting. So we talk about elements of fraud, risk classification. They talk a little bit about moral and physical hazards that you've met before. And then we start to get into the nitty-gritty of the maths, so the statistical data. If you've done LM3, you get a really good grounding for this already because it goes back into things like frequency distribution, average. They talk a little bit about probabilities and how this all factors into the underwriting process and the decisions that underwriters make. Then finally, penultimately I should say as well, we have pricing. So we look at various pricing factors for various different types of risks, including how we interpret claims data. And then finally, we start to look at kind of single risk events versus essentially other kind of types of risk. So risk aggregation, we look at risk control and exposure control, and then also how reinsurance plays a part in making sure we're managing that risk as best possible.
So this is a common module for people that work in underwriting. Also, it's a popular choice because I think people are often curious about underwriting. One thing I like to point out with this module, those people that work in underwriting, you may come in with already knowledge that you've acquired from doing your day job. You might find that some of the things that the book says is actually different to your underwriting processes and strategies internally. So just to be cautious that you come in and learn what the book is telling you, the priorities in order, particularly for those multiple choice exams, because some of that knowledge you might have might actually contradict what the book says. So sometimes people who work in underwriting actually find this module a little bit harder.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. This is a hybrid, because it's at diploma level, we tend to do coursework and multiple choice exams. So for the multiple choice exam, we've just got 50 multiple choice questions, which are standard. You've got an hour to do these. The pass mark is 65%. And then for the coursework, you've got 10 short answers. So they comprise 10 marks, 20 marks, 30 mark questions, and you need to get 120 out of 200, so that's 60% in order to pass that particular part.
We've got a free video on our YouTube channel to help you through diploma coursework. So if you want to go check that out before you get started on the coursework for this module, help yourself to that one. M80 is worth 20 credits at diploma level, and the average pass rate for completing diploma units is 91.2%.